kind of want to move to a related topic and give you guys some advice out there about buying and selling during what some people think to be is the slower real estate season, kind of upon us now, November, December, January. And, I wanted to ask you, Robert, obviously, working with the hundreds of home sellers that our team works with at any given time, it's funny how many of them come in thinking that, oh, I shouldn't sell my home during the winter, during November, December.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're very aware of. People always ask that question. A lot of people that we meet with now, we'll meet with them and they'll say, oh, but we should wait till the spring. Well, it's a supply and demand thing. So a lot of people aren't going on the market right now. You obviously talked about the stats where there's very low inventory, especially neighborhood to neighborhood. Really desirable neighborhoods have even less inventory. So when you're a property and you're wanting to go on the market and you're wanting to get the best, best offer, the best terms, the most money, you want to go up against hardly any competition because you're going to have a lot of buyers fighting for your property. So that's something where, hey, if you have to make some of these little repairs and you think you need people to come over and do these things where the workers are months and months out, I mean, if you're going on the market and there's no competition, it's not like the buyers are going to go out there and compare you to a million other homes either.
Correct.
So it's something where you can go and hopefully get multiple offers, drive your price up, and really the buyers that are going to want your house, a lot of the stuff that they've been looking at has already either sold or is still on the market. They're ready to see something new. So go on now when there's no competition. In our market, the winter does not slow down.
Yeah.
The slow week is between Christmas and New Year's, and that's about it. So
it's funny, I call it the winter. There's no T.
Right.
It's just the winter. My wife always gives me a hard time. She's like, it's winter. I'm like, no, it's winter. It's the same thing. I'm saying the same word you are. She goes, no, you're not. So, but the reality is we don't have the seasonal fluctuations here that other markets have, but most people from Tampa Bay are from up north. So they have a preconceived notion because of where they were raised or where they started out or where they were before here, that there's some sort of slowdown. And December, historically for us, is one of our top 3 months of the year.
Yeah, it's always our busiest or second busiest closing month. And January, actually, believe it or not, is our busiest listing month. So all these people who think, oh, I'm going to get a jump by calling February or March, the beginning of the spring. Well, our busiest listing month period is January. Those are people that wanted to go on possibly in December, but they held off. Well, in January, they're ready. They cleaned up their stuff. They're ready to go on the market. So
they get more attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're ready to go. So people are already in that mindset that we don't have a big winter market. You don't want to wait till the spring in our market.
Correct. I think you can sometimes be up against too much competition when you do that. And I think there's some other benefits. There's some tax benefits closing by the end of the year, with the homestead exemption. There's also the weather. I mean, let's face it, the heat of the summer, it can be pretty brutal, like buying and selling and stuff, but during the winter months or the winter months, either way, however you want to say it, it's like today, the weather's gorgeous,
I think we're in the dead of winter right now. It's like 60 in the mornings.
Right, exactly. 72 and air conditioned, sunny, perfect.
Who wants to go look at houses in the 90s with no air conditioning in them?
Right. And as a seller, too, the other thing you get advantage of this time of year that people forget is that increase in population, the snowbirds that move down here. A lot of relocation happens this time of year. And relocation people generally are higher priced customers, and they have a timeline. So you might actually get a better price for your house because they're so contingent on deadlines and timelines of being here by a certain time and day. I think, one other aspect to it, kind of happening, to going on the market at the end of the year, you don't obviously have the chaos of hurricane season. That obviously can throw a wrench in things during certain months, but during the winter it's, a lot less likely, so you don't have that potential to happen either. So lots of good reasons to think about selling. As far as thinking about buying, Mike, I think you can probably attest to this too, as far as buying a home during this time of year. We talked about the weather already, we talked about the tax benefits, but the longer people wait, the more prices are going to go up. By spring, we're going to see the appreciation from this year kind of start to bring values up, and things are going to cost more.
Right. Well, not only that, but interest rates are trending up as well. I was actually looking, and we talk about the first-time homebuyer program a lot here on the show, and we have our class, but this week alone for interest, let me back up. The program is done through U.S. Bank. They're the ones that provide the financing for it. The rate on the program has gone up a 1/4 point this week. It's gone up 2 different times. It's up a quarter point. So not only are our home values rising, interest rates are rising too, so it makes things less affordable. So I've always said, and I always will, there's no better time than now.
And I think one last important thing for home buyers is that some home sellers that are on the market through the holidays, may have a sense of urgency for tax reasons to get a home sold by the end of the year, or there could be a whole lot of other reasons why they choose to have their home on the market during the holidays and things like that. You might be able to get a great deal
Right.
as a buyer. Compared to in another time a market. So for example, you may have the upper hand in a negotiation, not if this home is listed with Duncan Duo,
Right.
but because we're going to do an awesome job negotiating for our customer. But you could potentially have that.
Right,
So-
and you hit on it too, the homestead exemption. In order to get the homestead exemption
by
for
the
the
year.
following year, you have to close by December 31st.
Correct. So we'll be back, continuing our conversation after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show.